Hey guys, it's Doc from the Gold Hog, and today I'm going to do a little bit different video. I'm going to take you guys up. It's actually November, it's starting to get cold, and we're still running the dredges, and I wanted to show you a few different things about the setup we've got in this configuration. So I'm going to take you out to the camp actually and show you this big mat configuration that we're running, but I wanted to explain it a little more in detail. Then I'm going to take you out to the field. I'm going to show you the dredge running. I went up there to check on the guys, bring them some new gear. I'm going to show you some of the fine gold that we're catching in this big dredge, the big 5-inch that we're running just full bore. I really want to show you how much fine gold we're catching in this. But before I do that, I wanted to show you, I'm going to show you the full mat up at the camp, but I wanted to show you how we cut this river hog. So I've got this mat set up that I'm getting ready to cut, or I've got a little sample piece that I'm going to show you how we cut what I call a throw versus a cut riffle. It's a little bit different, so I'm going to take you over there and show you real quick. Okay, so here's the River Hog Mat, and it basically looks like this. This is what the River Hog Mat looks like when it's whole. I wanted to show you that. So it's got a large riffle in here that can take massive water flows, okay? And what we do is we cut it down, but I cut it down in two different ways, and I cut it in varying heights depending on what I need. I may cut this as low as even with this ramp. I may cut it very, very low. I may cut it a little bit above it. It varies all through my sluice. I'm going to show you how it looks and how it works in our dredges and how you can cut it. But there's a couple different ways to cut this. Number one, if I want what I call sort of a throw, the angle on this riffle, I'm going to cut like this. If I wanted a cut, I'm going to cut my riffle like this. So I can have it one or two ways on this, and I show that in one of the videos, but I wanted to show you that all we do really, depending on the height, is I'm going to take a little piece of angle iron and I'm going to stick it inside that groove right before here, and this will give me my cut riffle. Okay, so I'm going to put this in here, and all I'm going to do is get my fingers out of the way because it will slip and will cut you. And once I get it locked in there, sometimes I even have someone help me on this. But I'm just going to take this and I'm going to run the blade through, and it has to be a nice sharp blade. And I'm just going to cut it through like this. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm trying to get it so you can see it. Now, that's how I cut my river hog. So, the only thing you want to be careful about, and I'm going to warn you, is if you're cutting it this way and you slip, you're going to cut your hand here. So always try and keep your hand away from this edge down here. I'm just going to run this. If I need to go back and clean it up, now I can go back and I can just clean it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. But what you're going to see on this now is you're going to see what that looks like. So I've got the water coming up and it's hitting a real sharp cutting edge right here. It's got a real sharp cutting edge as the water hits it. Okay, now I can vary this. I can make this really low or I can make it higher. I can do varying heights with this right here. So it's pretty cool. I can adjust it based on my sluice and my water flow. So that's a cutting, what I call a cutting. This creates a real sharp, high energy vortex right there. And now what I'm going to show you is I'm actually going to show you a throw cut. So I'll get another piece here, and so now instead of putting my blade, instead of putting my little angle iron inside this edge, inside the pre-ramp, I'm actually going to go behind it, and I'm actually going to go into one of the grooves right behind here, and I'm going to put it like this. Now I can vary this. I can put it in the first groove, I can put it in the third groove. I can use a little bit taller piece. This is 5/8, which is hard to find actually. And this is 3/4 by 1/4, I think it is, or 3/4 by 1/2. And I usually use the 3/4 by 1/2, and I'll put it in like this. I'll put it inside one of these grooves behind that riffle, lean it up against it, and when I cut, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my angle blade is down. So I'm going to have my angle blade downward, and that's going to give me my throw riffle. If I had it like this, obviously it wouldn't. So I can go in here now and I can cut it like this. If I wanted it a little bit shorter, I can go in here and put it like this and cut it like this. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to do because a lot of people are using this shorter one. So again, I'm going to go in here, get it locked in there, nice and tight, have my angle downward, come through. Now, once I actually come to this point, I'm going to switch my hand position so I don't cut my hand off. And now you can see I've taken this strip off of it. I've cut a big portion of the ramp off. But I want you to look at this cut now. So now what I've got is it comes up over this ramp, and throws over this. I still get a vortex behind here. It's just not as extremely high. Now I alternate these, and I'm going to show you our dredge mat with these alternating in here. Okay, so I wanted to show you one more time. So this is the throw riffle. The material starts to come up. This is your pre-ramp. You'll get a lot of material gold drop out in here, and then it gently just throws up over this, and there's a gentle vortex as it goes over the rest of this mat. Now let me show you the cut again. And this is what I call the cut riffle. And you can see the difference. So as the material comes up over here, this is a real sharp cutting edge, and the vortex is really powerful right here. And you can see as it goes up and it cuts. So whatever is lifting up over here, gold is going to fall down in here, but as it lifts up, it's cut and drawn down very quickly inside all the rest of the grooves down here. And that's a good look at all the different grooving systems that follow that. And you'll see when we run this mat, you'll see that all the fine gold, it's just littered all in here. Because we're catching 50, 100, 150. We're catching real fine flower gold all through here. And again, both create a vortex. They both just have a little bit different action. Again, I like to expose the slurry to different actions, different vortexes. I'm actually back at the camp before I head down there. And I'm going to show you the mat I'm doing with the RiverHog. A lot of people have questions about using the RiverHog in a dredge, and keep in mind, we got this in a 5-inch, and we're just blasting water over this thing. I mean, just screaming water just about as fast as we can over this mat. And we're catching tons of superfine gold. We're catching lots of 50 mesh down, lots of 50s, 100s, 150s, and 200s. And I have a testing video on here where we actually caught 100% of our tailings on runs and tested it. And let me tell you what, we're running well above a 98% capture rate on this thing, so I'm thrilled with it. Let me show you how we're doing it. So anyways, like I said, I'm back at the camp right now, and I've got this sort of back on my work table, and this is a big mat here. So I mean, we're running, again, in our dredge, what we're running long and smooth, but fast. I mean, it's really fast. The upper portion here of the dredge is real turbulent. I'll show you that. But right now, because we're running it so hot and so deep, I'm pretty much running all RiverHog on this mat, and all I'm doing is I'm cutting it down to meet my sluice. And I'm going to be doing a video on that about customizing your own sluice for your own water flow and velocity. But you'll see up here, up on the top of the dredge, what I'm doing is I have 1/4-inch punch plate over this RiverHog, and I have it cut down. You can see I have it cut down really, really low. I mean, it's just even with this ramp. So I have a little bit of water flow coming across here under that punch, so I don't want a tremendous amount of flow interruption. Then up here, it gets pretty turbulent, so I'm leaving it kind of long, and I have it cut with a throw riffle. There's two ways to cut this. Let me explain that. So this is a throw. The angle's going this way, even with the ramp. And then this is a cut. So you can see where this one is cut the opposite way. So when it comes up over here, it's a real violent, fast vortex here. And that's kind of what I'm doing with this mat, is I'm making a variety. I'm going to a throw angle, a cut, a throw, cut, throw, and so I'm alternating this all the way down. But you can see for the most part, I've taken all these river hogs down, even as fast as you'll see this water running and turbulent as it is. Again, we're just worried about what's on the bed load part of it. I don't care what's happening up higher. I want what's going on down the bottom. And this gives us real good exchange. This allows the rocks to actually tumble on down here without worried about rocks hanging up here. And we're catching, like I said, a ton of gold. Now, on this mat, when we start to clean it out, we might see, you know, 1 or 2 pieces at this very, very bottom area down in here. Almost nothing down in here. And we'll start to see as we go up, we're still barely see anything, and then right about here, we start to see good gold show up. So right about at the 50% mark, we start to see some good gold show up. And then we see more and more and more, and as we go up, we see tons of gold up here. And this is what you'll see today. That up higher on the mat, the higher we go up here, we see lots of gold up here. And then it just diminishes down, diminishes down, diminishes down. Now we may run this whole dredge for 2 to 3 hours, and you're going to have migration issues, and gold's going to eventually, you're going to have surges and everything else. But again, the majority of our gold is going to be caught up in this section right in here, and we'll see less and less and less till we see nothing down here. Hey guys, so you can tell from the noise, I'm actually down here now with the guys. Got my waders on, and I'm going to walk over and show you. What I want you to see is, I want you to see this. I want you to see the dredge running. I want you to see what I'm talking about how fast we're running this water. It's real high velocity, but I only care about the bed load. So that's what I'm treating. I'm treating that lower, and that's why I've got this mat cut down low. I want the big rocks. We have huge rocks that come through this thing. Big rocks to come through, but I'm just treating that bottom bed load. Alright guys, so we just did a shutdown. I wanted to show you real quick. Now, it looks totally different from when we actually let it run to when it actually shuts down, because this actually collapses a little bit. But there's a lot of material exchanging in a vortex behind this thing. And then you can see the black sand, but it's just a real pretty exchange point. When you can see this actually underwater running, this is really built up and it's exchanging and it's active. But we have varying patterns of this. So you can see that this is a cut. I've got black sand. Here's a throw. I've got a little more material. And then up top, we have a lot less. It clears out because of the velocity and speed up there. And then up under that punch plate up here, up under that punch plate up there, it works completely different. So I'm going to show you that too. But you can see what happens. I mean, I've got magnetite and hematite and black sand all behind this. And these things, even though there's rocks behind here, we find there's super, super fine gold in here. It just stays active. And it just stays fluidized and active under there. This is pretty cool. Now, this is really strange because we don't have a flare. Our hose just comes into our box, and then we sort of stop it with some interruption points, and then we drop it down to 1/4 inch here. And this is where it starts to settle. We catch a lot of gold up under here because this is a release point. It releases, and the gold can drop and settle out of here quiet, and then it gets processed down. But what's funny is you can see, look right there, there's a piece of gold. And then even up behind here, we'll see gold. You'll be able to see gold right up in that rock there. See if I can get to zoom in. I don't know if I can't tell if you can see it or not, so I'm just holding the camera there, but there's gold, little pieces of gold all back in there. There's little pieces of gold all in here. Alright, so here's where the perf plate is, and you can see that right here, it's almost solid block. But then as we go down, you can start to see you got a lot of black sand. It's just a strange little system that allows the gold to fall out here and gently, it's a very gentle exchange point in here. And again, we find a lot of our gold right at this point right in here. This is where we see a lot of it right down in here. Okay guys, so we're cleaning the mat. Again, we're up near the top of this thing, but I want you to see those. There's some nice pieces right in there. Again, we're just seeing the big stuff show up. The little stuff hides like crazy. And I'm just going to keep just sort of shooting what we see. There's a bunch. There's gold all in here. It's hard to see. Yeah, it's hard to get you to see this fine stuff that's in here, but I mean, this thing right here is full of, do you see all those like 50s and 100s, Joe?
Oh yeah.
I mean, right in here, it's just loaded right at my fingertip. Alright, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but it's kind of hard. This thing right here is just absolutely loaded with 50s to 100s. Ow! And I don't know how to shoot it for you. I mean, it is just loaded with it. I may even take a picture of that. That's so cool. Hold them out like that. Let me see. There you go. Alright guys. This is really cool. I'm hoping this records. This is up near the top. And this thing is just full of gold up in here. Okay, let's hope we get this. Look at it all up in here. All up through here, all up in here. This is just loaded. Okay guys, so I went ahead and there are the cons from this run, and I just took a little scoop out of the corner down there. I sort of shook it, took the bottom, but I want you to see, try and get this a little bit shaded. I want you to see, that's some nice gold there. And you can see up here, I mean, there's just a ton of that super fine stuff. 50, 100, 150, and there's 200. I don't know if you can see it, but I mean, there's just a bunch of gold sitting in there. That's a nice run. And again, that's running that straight all RiverHog cut down mat. And you know, we got big gold, tiny gold, all kinds of stuff in here. It's a nice run. Hey Red.
Hey, how are you?
Water getting a little cold. Hey Joseph.
A little bit.
It's gonna get cold. Is the morning run painful yet? No, not yet.
Not yet.
Full face mask time coming pretty soon though. It's not bad. Wait till it gets in the 20s. He'll be crying. Hey guys, I actually got back to the camp and it's cold and windy outside, so I came inside. I grabbed a scoop of these cons and I just wanted to show you why we're so concerned with fine gold. And I want you to look at this, and I don't know what you'll be able to see, but there's a ton of gold in here that's smaller than 50 mesh. So I've got a lot of gold in here that's 50, 100, and 150 mesh gold. And I would say probably 70% of our gold is below 20 mesh size. So we have a lot of fine gold here where we're running. But even though this looks like bigger, chunkier stuff, there's a lot of fine gold all mixed in here. Now, yes, we catch some bigger gold, we have some bigger pieces, and I put up that chunky stuff so you could see it, but I really wanted you to understand that a lot of our gold is in this fine category right there. It's a pretty good look at it. But there's gold in here you cannot see on video. And we want to catch as much as we can, and that's why I like that River Hog Mat, because let me tell you what, it just absolutely loads up with fine stuff. That's some pretty looking stuff, but that River Hog Mat, when we crud it down and we run it fast, man, it just runs great on that fine gold. Hey guys, so anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little outing we took. It's dark and it's a little bit cold out here and windy, and I'm getting ready to go back inside. But I just wanted to show you the layout configuration. We get a lot of question about dredges, and velocity is a key on this thing. You've got to have a lot of velocity and a lot of pitch, and you really want to get this River Hog Mat really screaming down, and you got to be real aggressive with it. So anyways, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next week on Gold Hog. Thanks.